This is episode 263 of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing with my guest, Nick Disney. Nick is the founder of Sell My San Antonio House. I think you know where this is going. Nick started this company with the idea of buying just a few houses to fix up to help provide for his family. That lasted 10 years, turned into over a few hundred, and now they're buying all across San Antonio and other parts of Texas. Nick, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like this journey because I know you didn't think it was going to become this big. Why did you get into it in the first place?
I've always had a great work ethic. So I would work hard, but I had the job like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I wanted a little bit more. And so you start researching, looking around, and everybody's found the stats, real estate is, 90% of the millionaires and things like that. So I was like, okay, I know about houses. I did not know about houses, right? But
You've seen them.
right. Yeah. I thought I knew stuff because I'd fixed things with my dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I kind of understand this. I could do this outside of my work hours. And the goal was just to kind of supplement my income. And from that turned into learning about cash flow and how assets can provide for you. And that was super exciting to me. And then, the pieces just kept building.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because you got in with almost a small scale, which is smarter, not thinking like, oh, I have to turn this into, 100 houses a year. What really kind of the light bulb went off when you saw different ways that you could use real estate? Like you could keep it as a rental, you could flip it, you could wholesale it, a lot of options, especially when you're becoming a local home buyer.
At first I thought, I'll probably flip houses, right? Because you see all the, a lot of people going in, and I was very naive, and you see all the, oh man, this is so much fun. This is going to be so great. Everything is so easy to do this.
Yeah. Great TV shows.
Yeah. And so I got in with that idea, but then I realized it wasn't unique, but Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's true. It taught me, because no one had shown me, all right, if you own an asset and then you get someone else to pay them, and then that will pay for the other stuff that you want. I was like,
yeah, right.
Wait a minute, this is super basic, but makes a lot of sense. And that's what kind of started me down the rental path, and then later into owner finance.
Let's go through your potential dispositions, at least for your business. I mean, will you hold some? Will you buy and lease back to some? What are your options when you're out there personally on a potential buy? Are you just trying to buy them all? Will you wholesale some? What are you working with?
So we don't wholesale hardly at all now. If we're going to go in there, we're looking at three things. So we have a rental portfolio. We're not adding to the rental portfolio now. So if we go view something, if it's a great rental, we're not looking to hold it as a rental. So we would either, we don't do many traditional flips now either. We will wholesale. Right. We'll actually, we'll purchase it.
I love a wholesale. Just for people who don't know, tell them what a wholesale is. It's my favorite. And I think it's just like a much more secure way of wholesaling.
I agree with all of that. And also with the right property, there's a lot of advantages. But what we'll do is, we'll come out there. Hey, we'll agree to purchase it. We will purchase it. We are not assigning this, but we're not going to do a full rehab on it. We may do a clean out,
get out
trash out. Right. Yeah. We'll do a trash out or something, and then we will look to sell it. It does a couple of things. One, it takes the time crunch of closing and you assigning, and now the person that's buying that contract from you actually closing. You own it. You do need more capital, right? Your capital or access to capital, but then you can do anything. You can put it on the MLS. You got plenty of time to shop around. You can sell it to a home. And so it works great with certain types of property, depending on your market. When you get there. So we will wholesale, clean things up, just kind of trash out and resell them. But the main focus of our business now is owner finance.
How did you work out the capital in the beginning to make sure that you either had the relationships or had the money or the access so that you could start buying multiple homes and then figuring out which ones to lipstick flip, which ones to fix up and then owner finance out to them?
So capital is huge. Anybody that's starting to grow this business, it's bigger. Anybody who's beginning, it's more important than you think it is, even if you think it's important. It's more important than you think. And so as I started, I was doing things a more traditional way. You'd put some money down, but as you're looking to grow more, you're going to run out of your own capital. And so building relationships, and everybody should start early. We have borrowed a lot of
Yeah.
money. Most of it is from private lenders, but that doesn't happen the day that you have a deal and, hey, I need to close on Monday. That starts early, and establishing a track record. There's plenty of people out there with money who, and it's not about, everybody makes this mistake too. Well, here's the return that I'm going to give you, and you're going to get this, and here's my project. No, if they don't trust you with their money, the return can be 1,000,000%. You're not getting it, right? They need to have a reason to trust you and feel like their money's protected. And then you have to give them a fair rate of return for what the risk is. But once you establish a few of those, and when I first started, it was a couple of different guys with, about 300,000 each. And we just use the money over and over and over and over and over. We'd get it back.
Your price point's great there for what you're buying at. So you really can do it without someone who needs to really put a ton of money. Obviously that's a lot of money. But yeah, I think that's really important. You're picking a return that works for them. And I've found that level of private lender, they like to know they're a little bit involved in real estate, but they're too busy to do the flips themselves. And they might say, hey, like, send me the pictures. Wow, great job. I made a fixed return. Maybe one day they want to JV something, but then they'll realize why they don't want to do it.
Why they don't want to. Yep. A lot of people that flipped one house have become private lenders for us. Or,
exactly. I was just thinking about the difference between rental properties and then selling them out on owner finance. And it's like, okay, this is making a lot more sense, but people are thinking, oh, I just want to accumulate a rental portfolio and count the doors. But rental portfolio, you're doing all the repairs, you're paying the taxes. If you buy a condo, you're paying the HOA. If you're owner finance selling it to the buyer, they're paying all that. You're just the bank collecting stuff the easy way. It's way more passive.
It's way more passive, and the cash flow is higher.
Yeah.
If you have 10 rental properties and people are like, hey, I've got these 10 doors, which I think is awesome. And there's big advantages to it, especially on the equity side and the wealth long-term, it's great. But if it's $300 a month, per door, oh, well, then a water heater went out. Well, that's 3 months, and,
I know.
And all this. And so the cash flow is not really there. Even they're good investments, but the cash flow not be there. Well, if you had that much money and you had hypothetically 10 free and clear notes, well, if those are paying $1,500 a month, well, now you've got a lot more cash flow that isn't impacted by things like turnover, all the bad things about that, and your time, the time you get back.
Yeah. And no calls for the plumbing. I mean, you're not getting a Christmas Eve call. Hey, my toilet's clogged. Cool. You own the house, fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a much different scenario than being a landlord, which most of us, secretly hate, just like flipping. It sounds good in theory until you do it, and then it's much more difficult. Yeah, I mean, this seems like a really smooth business principle that you've created. Have you had to foreclose on many homes over the years, or do you always kind of find a way to work it out?
Not many. We it's rare that we have to foreclose. There are going to be times, if you do enough mortgages, that you have to
Yeah, I
foreclose.
mean, someone could just lose a job. I mean, something can happen,
Life still happens to people, and they don't mean to. In 2023, we had 0. 2024, we had 0 all year.
Yeah.
And so, but it starts with, just like if you're a landlord and really screening your tenants and really picking the tenants that are going to be successful there, that's the first step. And then we do require more of a financial commitment up front. So that does a couple of things. It does financially commit them to their home, but it also shows that they worked hard. It's not easy to save that much money. So they worked hard for it. And then just experience and people that we think will be set up for success. So we're not trying to do that. But if someone, chooses not to pay, yes, we have to get the house back. It's $150,000. You can't just have it because you didn't feel like paying. And so we have very few, and it's not as scary or hard as people think I send an email to the attorney and they do it. I don't
right.
I'm not at the courthouse, making an auction.
Yeah.